Hi, Floridians. Thanks for joining me, Scott Ryan. Well, next Tuesday we vote for a governor, and I've never been a big fan of Rick Scott. I opposed Rick Scott as a choice early on in the primaries, going back the first time around, and I'm not a fan. As a matter of fact, I've been advocating for Allen West for governor for the past couple years. That is a man who should have. I wanted West to challenge Rick Scott. I wanted him to primary him. I was praying that he would. It never even entered the statewide conversation. It's not that it was even considered. But Allen West should have primaried Rick Scott for that governorship. If Rick Scott loses this race because Floridians are that credulous, then Allen West better run for governor next time around. But I will be voting for Rick Scott because when I look at the alternative in Charlie Crist, there is no real choice. I mean, he's not a viable option. Charlie Crist is ignoble. He is destitute of any fixed principles whatsoever, other than he will say whatever it takes and do whatever it takes to get Charlie Crist elected. Charlie Crist, I call him Bathhouse Charlie. If Floridians are that crazy that they want to elect this snake oil salesman who has been in 3 different parties in the last 4 years, they deserve what they get. And South Carolina is going to be looking a lot better. Going to be taking a serious look at that if this guy gets elected, because that would definitely be the proverbial canary in the coal mine when it comes to the direction the electorate's going. I mean, Florida's been suffering from eastern seaboard residents moving after they've destroyed their states like New York and Massachusetts. They're coming here and basically electing their communists, their horrible choices in politicians. They give us people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So we do see a potential pandemic and eastern seaboard parasitic politics. So this is going to tell a lot about the direction that Florida is going to go on Tuesday if they're really that stupid. And I have experience with this guy. I mean, I was on the Republican Executive Committee of Palm Beach County when Charlie Crist was running for governor for the first time. And I was actually looking forward to hearing both candidates in that primary. He was running against Mark Gallagher, who is a very accomplished and honorable veteran. He was more accomplished, or at least equally accomplished, as was Charlie Crist during that first time when Charlie Crist ran for governor. But Charlie Crist had the better hair. He had the silver tongue, he had the silver hair, and the tan that many of the rhinos in the party just couldn't resist. But he came to the REC. Here's my experience. Both candidates were coming to the REC on different days, and they were going to be, it was understood they were going to be meeting and greeting and speaking to us, and then they were going to take questions at the end from the executive committee members. And Mark Gallagher came first, and he was outstanding and open, and he took as many questions as anybody could ask. And he did it without anything to hide. There was no inhibition because we were dealing with somebody, obviously, who has principles and morals. And then Charlie Crist came, and this was a time when he was Attorney General. And there were a lot of people, a lot of conservatives, the conservatives in the party, really were not happy with him because he did nothing to stop the murder of Terry Schiavo. And so many of us wanted to ask questions about his positions as far as life goes and the sanctity thereof. So Charlie Crist comes in, this smarmy snake oil salesman, this slime of a man. I mean, he was the typical politician, very disingenuous. He was good at working the crowd, and he made his political stump speech. And then when it came time for the questions, which was Sid Dinerstein was the chairman at the time, he said, "Now we're going to take some questions from REC members." And Charlie Crist, what he did, I'll never forget. he cut Sid Dinerstein off, and he proceeded to tell us in the audience, 100 plus REC members, he proceeded to tell us that he knows what our questions are going to be, and then he answered them as he enumerated what he was telling us our questions are going to be. He didn't take one damn question, and that really said everything to me that I needed to know. This man is a politician. He is the quintessential defining example of the scumbag politician that believes in nothing, that will stab you in the back and turn on a dime depending on what direction the political wind is blowing. And this homosexual, and everybody knows he's a homosexual, he married some woman, some pretty woman, as a trophy symbolic wife. But Bathhouse Charlie, if Floridians elect this man, get ready for the salacious stories that are going to come. And I'll tell you they will. I promise you that. He was even, it seemed like red herrings in his commercial. In his recent commercial, he said something about, hey, look, I'm not perfect. I don't even know why he would say that. It was a weird thing to say in your own political commercial, unless you are expecting something to come out. It was a red herring, I believe. But this man, I mean, if Florida is that imbecilic, knowing how he's broken out the knee pads for Obama already, and seeing and that was when he was in the GOP. You just wait and see what he's going to do for Obama if he's governor as a Democrat. If the electorate is really that obtuse from the infiltration of leftist Eastern Seaboard politicians and voters, then this is going to, I'll tell you what, determine my fate as a Floridian come Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.